Hi ladies, welcome to Wednesday evening Facebook Live. So if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? I know there's a bit of a Facebook glitch at the moment with Facebook Lives. So I just want to make sure that you can hear me. I'm sure you'll let me know if there's a problem. Anyway, ladies, my name is Stephanie. I am your coach, curator, can't say it, for the Women Who Don't Drink group. It's great to have you here. New ladies, welcome. Please watch the welcome video, which is at the top of the page. Thanks, Elise. That's great. Thank you. It's nothing worse than doing a Facebook Live, doing the whole thing and then realising that there's no sound. That's a bit of a nightmare. So new ladies, welcome. It's great to have you here. Lots and lots of ladies in the group, loads and loads of experience. It is amazing. If you have a question or there's something you're struggling with and you ask the question, you get pretty much every angle, and that's one of the many things that I love about this group. So new ladies, watch the welcome video at the top of the page. Please watch the videos in the files section. Really important. It gives you all the information you need about alcohol. You know, you may think you know everything about alcohol. Great. This will just top you up and add to your motivation. It's just that there's a few key things that you need to know about physical addiction, physical dependency to alcohol, and those videos explain it really clearly. Because some ladies, you need to reduce slowly, and if you stop suddenly, it can be dangerous with physical withdrawal. So really important. I will go on and on about that, because obviously I want you to be okay. I want you to be healthy and happy. I do regular Facebook Lives on a Wednesday, so if there's anything you want me to cover, just let me know. We have had lots of requests for Facebook Lives around self-love, liking yourself, self-compassion. So this is the first video in a series of a few that I will do talking around this subject, because it is a massive subject and it's going to be different for all of you. So what I'll try and do is I'll try and cover lots of different angles about it, so that there's something for most people in there, and obviously we'll talk about it over the weeks as well, so things will come up. Okay, so loving yourself, liking yourself, self-compassion. It's something that we're not very good at talking about, and people feel quite uncomfortable. And it's amazing when I do coaching with people, how many people, when we sort of get to a certain point and I say, do you like yourself? And the amount of people that turn around and say, no, I'm flabbergasted. It's a big issue for quite a lot of people. So I want to dispel some myths about this for starters. It is not selfish to love yourself or to put yourself first, and it is not arrogant or overconfident. Okay, so let's just get those out of the way. Now, I think there's something about some generations and some cultures where we were taught to put everyone else first. So we weren't taught to think about ourselves and our own needs and what, you know, that type of thing. So I think that's where the selfishness comes from, but also, you know, that we've never been taught, it's never even been talked about. I can't remember anybody talking to me about this when I was a child, and I'm guessing a lot of the ladies, I'd love to know actually, any ladies out there, as you were growing up, if you had any parenting where you were taught, or sisters, brothers, to think about yourselves, to like yourselves. That would be really interesting to know. So when we put ourselves first, which is essentially part of loving ourselves and liking ourselves, I'm going to come on to that. But when we do put ourselves first, it's a win-win, okay? So everybody wins. So when we're good, when we're happy, when we're healthy, it's good for our children, it's good for our parents, it's good for our partners, it's good for our work. I mean, it's good for every area of life. Hi, Nicola. No, yeah, I know. Who has ever been taught this? It's fascinating, isn't it? And actually, mums, good point, how we talk to our children about this, isn't it? Something we need to start thinking about. The other thing that I've come across as well is when I've been working with people around selling themselves, you know, talking about themselves in a positive way. People feel really uncomfortable about that, and obviously what is underneath that is the self-love, self-like thing, is that they feel like it's being arrogant, that you can't do that, you can't talk about yourself in a positive light. And I'm just like, oh my god, we really have got a problem. You know, we've got a problem. Hi Linda. You know, that if when people think actually that it's better to be humble now, obviously being humble is great, but there's a time and a place, isn't there? You know, and sometimes we do need to sell ourselves, and it's okay to talk positively about ourselves. It's absolutely okay. So it's like, so this thing about when we were kids and nobody taught to us about self-love or liking ourselves, nobody asked us that. And then also there's this thing about putting others first, and I think that's particularly a thing for women. We've got into a pattern of doing it. So in this crazy busy world that we have today, where we are mothers and wives and partners and we work, you know, and there's so much to do that it can feel like there isn't the time for ourselves anyway. So I think sometimes we forget to make time for ourselves. We don't even think about this stuff, so we're not even paying attention. So something about busyness as well. The point I want to make with that one is, and you know I'm going to say this, is you only get one life. This is it, ladies. It's happening now, and it's your life. So there needs to be, and it's happening now, you know, right now. So there needs to be things in there for you. And this is why I will always say it's absolutely okay to prioritize yourself. Now, in the context of alcohol, this is massive, because alcohol is a poison, it's a toxin. It's not good for us in any shape or form, as we know. If you like yourself, if you love yourself, why are you drinking alcohol? You know, why are you putting that into your body? One of the questions first of all, I want to ask you, do you like yourself? You know, to start thinking about that. Sometimes love is a bit of a stretch too far if you haven't got that far. Do you like yourself? And if you don't like yourself, why not? You know, and start having an honest conversation with yourself about that, you know, or even use us in the group for that. Okay, so we talked about we might not have been taught, or we didn't hear it. So maybe, because when you grow up, and what we can tend to do, I mean, we've all been parented differently, and sometimes our childhood hasn't been good. That's slightly different. I'm talking about normal parenting, if there is such a thing. That we sometimes, well, what we do is we remember the negative. So, for instance, my mum is a negative lady that is quite critical, and that's how I remember her. And when I talk to her about that, that's not how she remembers it. And my eldest son remembers me a certain way, but that's not how I remember it. So we also have this thing about how we remember our childhood, how we heard things, and then how we process that and how we retain that information in our heads. We might have also forgotten. Yes, Linda, yeah, that's it. So it's very easy for us to, we tend to find it easier to stick to the negative, to remember the negative. And actually what we need to do is to pay attention and turn that around and start focusing on the positive. Yeah, great, Elise. So you ask people to name 3 things about themselves. Can they come up with the answers? Yeah, so that's a good one, actually. So let's do that. That's an exercise. So 3 things that you like about yourself. Let's have it, ladies. That would be really good. So to give you an example, so let's show you that I can practice what I preach. I can't talk. 3 things that I like about myself. One of the things I like about myself is I'm a very good friend. I'm very loyal. The other thing I like about myself is I am positive. I'm a cup I was going to say a cup half full person, but actually I think it's further than that, but there's endless opportunities to fill the cup. The other thing I like about myself is I'm a doer. I just get on and do things. So there you go. There's 3 things that I've shared there. So 3 things that you like about yourself, ladies. Yeah. So starting to think about changing the thinking in your head. So tonight, let's talk about critical self-talk. Okay. This won't be for everyone. So I'm going to cover lots of different things in different videos. If you have critical self-talk, so this is the voice in your head that is talking to you throughout the day, saying things like, oh my God, why did you do that? You're so stupid. Oh, you know, constant criticizing. Oh, Mary's an optimist. Brilliant, Mary. That's great. So critical self-talk. Now, pay attention. If you do critical self-talk, it doesn't feel very nice. It's a bit of the feeling's quite frustrating, isn't it? It's like, it's that sort of feeling that goes with it. Right, is that your voice, or is it, it's going to sound a bit loopy, but bear with me. Is that your voice, so you're your own critic, or is it something that you've borrowed from childhood? So is it your mum's voice, not necessarily the voice, but the words that you can hear? So are you carrying on something from childhood? Now, if you're carrying on something from childhood, you're an adult now. You know, you can be, do and have anything that you want. You really, really can. I believe that anything is possible. And I also believe that you can design a life that you want. And that starts with, who are you? Who do you want to be? And how do you want your life to be? Liking yourself is a really important part of that. It's really important. So if you have a critical voice, then what you need to do is to start replacing that with a positive, okay? So I want you, like you said, so 3 things that you can say that you like about yourself. So write them down. You know, just have a think, like now, look in the mirror. What can you say that you like about yourself? And I want you to do this a couple of times a day and do it differently. Ah, Linda, you don't know. Right, that's a task for you then, Linda, okay, over the next week. Every day, couple of times a day, just stop. It can be really simple things, but it's that practice of changing that critical self-talk into a positive. So like what we're doing with the water, I hope you're doing well with the water challenge, ladies. I've nearly done it. I've definitely done 2 litres. I need to do 2.5. Yes, Elise, brilliant. So Elise loves her ability to be positive during difficult times, and she's good at making pie, always brilliant, and she's a great singer. So that's 3 things that she likes about herself. Brilliant. Okay, so a couple of times a day, I want you to sit down or just do it in your head. Actually, it's more powerful if you say it out loud, if you can. Obviously, if you're in the middle of an office or you're in a toilet and somebody might come in and you don't want to do it, but if you can, that's great. And say 3 things that you like about yourself. Pay attention to the critical parent as well, because I bet those things you're saying to yourself, you wouldn't say to anyone else. Okay, let's be honest here. Mary's a happy person, that's brilliant, great. So the stuff that you're saying to yourself in your head, the critical voice, ask yourself honestly, would you say that to someone else? Now, I'm betting you wouldn't. 90% of you are going to say, no, I wouldn't say that to someone else. So then the next question is, why are you saying it to you? Hi, Sue. You know, what is it about you? Why are you giving yourself such a hard time? So you're able to have compassion for others, to love others. You're able to see that people aren't perfect. You're able to accept people for what they are. So we're going to start turning that on you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's very, very starting points. I'm going to start doing some work on this. So 3 things you like about yourself a couple of times a day, and then make notes of it. So you start practicing that. And notice if you've got a critical voice in your head, and I want you to ask yourself honestly, would you talk to anyone else like that? So why are you talking to yourself like that? Now sometimes what happens is there's something underneath that, and that's where coaching comes in. It does, you know. So for instance, you know, if you've got a critical inner voice and you're giving yourself a hard time, and you're giving yourself a hard time as a result of something you did, you know, a long time ago that you feel bad about, you need to let that go. If you're struggling to let that go, then it's coaching. But we'll take that a bit further next time, going deeper and deeper. Linda, you like your eyes. Brilliant. That's 1. So we need 2 more. That's great. Okay. So 3 things you like about yourself twice a day. Pay attention to the critical inner voice. Would you talk to someone else like that? If you wouldn't, then why are you doing it to yourself? Okay. And that's it for tonight. I will see you soon, ladies. As always, any questions, just ask, and we will keep working on this. Have a nice evening. Bye.